Morning, Arsene. Can you please start with the team news ahead of the Palace game?
I don't think that Kieran Gibbs will be available. Apart from that, Mustafi is fit again, and we have one or two uncertainties. We have a few flu, but overall everybody else should be available. And of course the long-term injuries are not back, but everybody else should be available. Kieran Gibbs has a knee problem, and Walcott has a calf problem on short term. Will he be available or not? I don't think he will be available for Sunday.
We've seen Danny Welbeck back in training this week. I know you'll manage his rehabilitation very carefully, but have you given any sort of time frames for when we might see him back in action again?
No, he's fit. He's sharp. Will I involve him on short term or not, or will I play him first in a game with the under-23? I have not decided yet, but he's in training. He looks quite good.
As lastly from me, we're at the end of 2016. It's been a pretty dramatic year. How do you reflect on it from your perspective, and what have been the highlights for you?
Well, I assess it that in two parts. I think we finished second in the league. That was last year, so it was the Leicester year, 2016, and overall for us it was disappointing not to win the league. And after that, I think 2016, the second part of the season, we have moved our level up, but we're in the middle of a championship now, and overall it was a very promising premiership with the best managers of the world all in the Premier League who are competing, and it promised to be an exceptional year. And until now I think it was disappointing on all levels because we have not produced the games. The Premier League has not produced the games that are remembered, and I'm convinced that the second part of the season, the level and the spectacularity of our league will go up. But we have some responsibility to do that, to achieve that.
Good morning, Arsene. A couple of months ago, when I asked you about Olivier Giroud's game time, you said what's permanent in October may not be permanent in December. How big a role do you think he can still play for you this season?
For me, it's always a big role, because even when he didn't start the games, he had a big impact coming on. So overall, we are a squad where everybody has its moments, and it's down to me to use well the players.
Has the Crystal Palace fixture suddenly become a more difficult proposition because Sam Allardyce is in charge now?
The level of confidence or the level of urgency goes always a bit up when a new manager comes in, of course, and that makes the games more difficult.
Are you surprised to see him back in football so quickly after what happened with him at England?
No, not really, because today the clubs who are in trouble, who look for experienced managers. The position in the Premier League has become vital for everybody. To stay in the league has become an extremely big problem for everybody. And when teams look for managers, he was one out there who had the experience and the quality. After that, all the rest is moral judgment. I don't know how guilty he was of having done something wrong or not. I don't know, but he was in a strong position as a national team manager. So that means people acknowledged that he had the quality to be there.
Just looking at the top of the table, how much of an impact do you think the head-to-heads between the contenders will have? Will they be decisive, do you think?
It will be, of course, vital, but at the moment Chelsea is the super favourite because they are quite made a big difference. But it's theirs to lose, as we say here in England. They can still lose it, And at the moment they have won it, but they can still lose it because it's still a long way to go and very difficult for everybody. So the head-to-head will have a vital importance.
Arsene, I must ask you about Mathieu Debuchy. He's done an interview claiming that the pair of you hardly speak. What's your response to that, and are you listening to offers for the player in January?
Yes, of course, and but we speak. We have communicate with all the players, and it's a little bit frustrated article from a player who is injured. You know, when you're injured, you cannot play. When he had the opportunities to play, when Bellerin was injured, he was injured, so I cannot do anything about that. And if I gave him last year the opportunity to go to Bordeaux on loan, but we had nobody coming in for him during the summer period, and there are some things are not true in this article. We never blocked him to go to Fiorentina nor to Espanyol. They had no interest in him at all because we checked that, you know. So that's you have to take this article with a little distance.
I think the issue he has is the link with Manchester United and the offer that they had made, and perhaps that
They had never made an offer for him.
So that's completely untrue.
It's completely untrue.
I must just ask you.
So that's sometimes surprising to hear things like that.
Arsene, the speculation linking Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to Liverpool has been described as nonsense by Jurgen Klopp. It gives me an opportunity to ask you the weekly question about Chamberlain, Sanchez and Ozil. Is there any latest you can give us?
No. We have all to face a lot of wrong information, you know, you like me, and we have to live with that, but we cannot influence that, you know.
Just the final one from me. Has anyone had a word with Gunnosaurus Rex about his behaviour?
With
Gunnosaurus Rex. You saw what happened with the Watford mascot and Wilfred Zaha.
No.
You haven't seen it? So the Watford mascot dived at the end of the game in front of Wilfred Zaha. Sam Allardyce wasn't pleased at all. Is it something you need to approach Gunnosaurus Rex about? And his...
No, not really. No, let them express their talent. You know, it's important. It's important that the Premier League is creative, at least the mascots.
Thank you.
Hi, Arsene. Only Eric Cantona has more assists than Mesut Ozil in their first 100 Premier League matches. I just wondered if you could sum up what you think Mesut Ozil has been like for you as a signing.
He's of course a huge player. I always defended him here, you know, in press conferences because I believe that he has improved his commitment. He's physically works much harder than people think he does. But as well, I believe this season he has scored more goals. And personally, I believe as well he creates more chances for himself than ever before because he runs more behind. And I still think there is a gap between his potential finishing and the way he finishes, you know. In training, he finishes much better than in the games, and I'm convinced that his percentage of finishing will go up in the coming months, and he can have a huge contribution to the team, not only through his passing but as well through his finishing.
So that's the next thing that you're working on with him. He's got the kind of physical aspect. It's now the finishing in matches.
He works hard, but I think he had one or two games this season, especially where he was frustrated. The one that comes to my mind is a Man City game where he was criticised after, you know, but overall, if you look at the whole contribution in the whole season, for me, has been absolutely fantastic.
How much of an art is what Sam Allardyce does, a manager like him? The goal is not really success, it's avoiding failure, isn't it? It's different to your goal.
Look, at some level, avoiding failure is success, you know. What he did at Sunderland last year he has been absolutely sensational, and the success in every club is at a different level, and the job of a manager is to take the best out of a potential of a team, and that's different at every level, you know, and sometimes to take the best out of a team is to avoid relegation. If you are at Hull today and you avoid relegation, you have done a super job, maybe as good as the one who will win the league. So it's just down to competence and making the right decisions and prepare well the team.
I'm not sure if you saw Christian Benteke's penalty against Watford.
I've seen that, yes.
What did you think of it, and what do you think is the ideal penalty, Arsene?
The ideal penalty doesn't exist. It's just when the ball touches the net, you know.
But what do you encourage?
What I encourage is to be as simple as possible. And we have seen in some to be neutral. If you look at the European Championships, there were some games where basically only the defender scored and all the strikers failed because they wanted to be a bit too complicated. Not flashy necessarily, but stop your run, look at the keeper, and go the other side of the keeper. But if the keeper doesn't move, you have an uncertainty coming up, and the indecision is nothing worse than that. So it's a difficult exercise, and since I'm in football, from Pelé to Messi, everybody miss, you know. So that means it's not as easy as it looks, and when you get close to the penalty spot, the goalkeeper becomes very big and the goal very small.
And just finally from me, the agent of Frank Kessie, Ivory Coast Atalanta midfielder, says that Arsenal want him. Is there any truth to that?
No.
Thank you.
Arsene, you talk about getting the best out of the potential of a team. What do you think Crystal Palace's potential is as your next opponents?
Look, overall, when you look at their squad, it's a talented squad because they have potential going forward. They have potential to be quick on the break. They are very versatile because they can be good in the air with Benteke. Benteke is as well good technically. They can be quick in transition with Townsend, Zaha. So overall, I believe that in the last game they played in their midfield with Flamini, with Panchen and Kabay. They have experience, they have technical quality. It's a team that can be dangerous for everybody.
Do you think they have enough depth in the squad?
They have, I don't know well enough, but they have some injuries at the back and suspension, so I don't know if their squad is big enough or not.
Just regarding Kieran Gibbs, can you clarify what's happened? Has he had a scan?
He had a knee problem, a kick. He bumped into the knee of his opponent, and he has an inflammation. I think it's a question of days. Will he be available for Bournemouth or not? It looks short, but for Preston, he should be available. And
what do you make of Chelsea closing in on your record for consecutive wins in the Premier League?
Well, it's what they do is fantastic. You know, if they do it, it's absolutely marvelous because nobody expected that at the start of the season. We had quite a little bit of dodgy start, but after, since they've changed their system, full, and when they are on a run, the confidence plays a big part. And if they do it, you can only say well done. That's, the records are there to be beaten, and if somebody does better than you have to say, to acknowledge and say well done.
Arsene, a lot of people will be quite surprised to hear you say that, in your opinion, in the first half of the season, the Premier League has not produced. Why do you think that is, that there haven't quite been the quality games that you would have wished for?
Maybe as well because both teams are always top quality, and because I think as well everybody's under pressure first not to lose. Every game has become so important. Maybe as well because there's difference between the favorite teams and the smaller teams. Make the fact that some they just defend some teams, you know. I just feel there's more in the league than what we produced. I include myself in that, you know, in what we produced. And you always think that a Premier League year is remembered as well by the 2 or 3 games who were absolutely spectacular. And at the moment, we have not produced that as a league, you know, and I include myself. I just think you have the best managers in the world in this league, and I'm sure in the second part of the season, when everybody is ready to go for it, it's not anymore wait and see, it's go and take now. And I'm confident that in the second part of the season, you will see spectacular games that we have not completely produced. It's a very good league. It's every game is absolutely super difficult, but the spectacular side that everybody expected until now has not come out of this league yet.
And when you beat Chelsea 3-0 at the end of September, how surprised does that make you feel now, the run that they have got on?
They have redressed well their problems, addressed well their problems. So you have to give credit to Conte to find a solution that has balanced well his team, and of course they bought as well Luis, who stabilized their defensive record, and overall I think the team has been the most consistent until now.
And just finally from me, if it could be that you start this game 12 points behind Chelsea, how worried are you about that?
I'm worried about our next performance, and at the moment I think we have not to look at that. We have to look at our performance for the next game and fight back, and it can as well be the other way around, you know, that I know that to be a journalist is always to imagine the worst. So, but I wish that in 2017 for us you wish the best.
Thank you very much.